Hello, welcome to another episode of Trade with Me, where I share my weekly bias or where we just do general understanding of the market and how the market moves. So this week it's going to be a little bit long because I will be showing you some analysis I did last week and how it turned out to play. I did the BTC analysis last 2 weeks and I shared with you the Euro USD analysis just last week. We are going to be looking at the analysis I shared on the WhatsApp group I am. So I shared it on that WhatsApp group and let's just see how it's turning out to be. So I'm going to switch to my phone to show you the analysis of what I talked about. So let's switch to my phone, right? So let's scan this. Just hold on a little bit. Let's get this scanning. Okay, let's get it started. So last 2 weeks, if you can see my screen right now. So we talked about this was precisely 18th July where I did analysis on BTC and my first screenshot that I posted was reaction and weekly breakout. I was trying to explain the screenshot of structure and break of structure. The reaction came from a fair value gap, and if we expand, we are going to see the fair value gap around here. See the fair value gap. Let me use the mouse. This is the fair value gap right here. That's the fair value gap. So reaction came from the fair value gap, and we saw a weekly break, right? Then after the weekly break, you see how price reacted again here and dropped. So I was trying to explain that reaction came from a weekly fair value gap and broke the structure on like a structural break, not a candle break. Now, if you see, then I said switch to H4 time frame, which on the next slide I said also identify your H4 key levels, how price reacts and then break structure from what we can see. The price reacted from the H4 on the H4 for key level, then broke its first structure overall structure. I guess I was trying to say first overall structure. So if we expand it, we will see how price reacted from after the weekly break. Price went up, reacted from the H4 key level and broke H4 structure. So all these are happening. While all these are happening, we are trying to frame our next bias. And this other picture, the next one is not clear because I guess it was cleared out of my phone, but this is what I said there. So we will still have more bearish movement from next week, which is that week where I did the USD analysis from next week, but there will be a little push upward before the main move, which is the bears from next week. So expect more sales from BTC, which if we check from that last week, I also did some analysis on gold, but that's not what we're talking about today. So we're going to look at the BTC on on actually what I talked about. So if you look at this the weekly, right? This is what I was trying to explain. So price came from the weekly fair value gap, right? This is the weekly fair value gap. Then broke structure. You see, after the break of structure, we move to 4 hours. Then we are going to monitor what price is doing on the 4 hours time frame, right? So on the 4 hours, just like we saw from the on the 18th, we saw reaction on the 4 hour key level and a break of structure, right? But after we are seeing this, we are seeing reaction and break, right? Then we are going to now check where price is supposed to react from. Now, since I am a very detailed analysis or analyst, I do a detailed analysis. So once price reacted from the structure, from the key level, sorry, from the H4 key level, what we want to see is candle reaction, right? We want to see how candle breaks. So I'm going to, what am I going to do? Let me just refresh this. Hold on, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so now from the H4, now, okay, so at this point, we want to understand what is going on. I mean, sorry, on this point after that, this first reaction here, then the break of structure, right? We want to understand how the candles are relating with each other on this point. This very point, this very point here. So I'm going to zoom in so that we will see what is going on inside that point on the 40 on the H4, right? So let's go because that is where price is going to come back to react, right? That is where price is going to come back to react. So on the H4, we are zooming in now to see price reaction. Okay, so we got our first after the reaction, see price started coming down. We got our first break of candle structure. This is just how I trade. Remember, we did not catch this move because it happened on that weekly time frame, so we didn't actually catch that move. Understand? We didn't catch the move, so but we are coming back to see what really happened. So we saw the first break, we saw the second break, then we saw how price came back, swept this liquidity, then started coming down, which means this point here, all here has been price has mitigated all anything around here. Price has mitigated. Now it doesn't mean so what in fact what it means on the long run is price is not going to if price is retracing back to this point, price is not going to pass this very high. You see how I marked it with red, this very high here. So price is not going to pass this point. So then if price is not going to pass this point, this red line, when it is coming back to it, where is price going to now react from? That is now going to be on our 4 hour. We are now going to check on our 4 hour key level to 45 minutes key level to actually see where price is going to come back to and where price is going to react from. So in our 4 hour key, 45 minutes key level, you can either use 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 1 hour depending on what you know how to trade. So in our 45 minutes key level, we want to see where price is going to. Remember, there was a sweep of liquidity and a break of structure. So normally, this is supposed to be our order block, right? On the 45 minutes, because that was the last bullish candle before price started rallying down. So this is our order block. So normally, price is not going to come more above this point. So this is how I do my analysis. So and if you also see there's a liquidity resting just above or below the order block. You see how everything is aligning. That's why I say we are going to have more bearish move. So if you're a good trader, you would have known where price is going to come back and react. So me that I trade on key levels, so my trade is specifically on key levels. So I marked out this key level here. I marked out this key level here and expected price to come. Bearing in mind that we also have an order block. So sometimes price might say respect just the order block and not come to the key level. So I'm looking at these two things, right? So let us see on the 4 hour. Okay, let's still use 45 minutes and now go, and now we are now waiting for price to come back to that point. Sorry, we're expecting price now to come back to that point, to that level. So we waited for, so since on the 18th I did this analysis, 18th of July, you understand, I did this analysis. So I guess this is where the analysis came from. 18th of July, 18th here. When price was around here, that's when I did the analysis. I was saying we're going to get a little bit of a push upward because I knew price has not yet come to the other block or the either the key level. So I was just expecting price to push up before we get to the sales. Now, this is what price did. This is just to tell you that this analysis that I'm giving to you, I'm dropping for you. They are premium analysis and you should know what to do with the information you're getting on this channel because we don't joke. We don't joke here. We don't joke. So if you're following, you're going to catch this move. So when price tapped on the other block, I was still monitoring. So price actually tapped on our other block and tapped on our key level also. And see, price did not pass that red line that I marked. But price did not pass it, right? Price did not pass it. So what we got there after the distance, after the break, after the tap of the key level, you see how price retraced back. So I took this entry here. I'm not going to explain how I took the entry. If you want to know more on this, you are going to contact me. You are going to contact me, and I'm going to drop a link to the BTC analysis on this video and also a link to the Euro USD analysis so that you would go and check the analysis yourself and compare, right? So price tapped and started coming down. So if we go back to the 4 hours, so when price started coming down, so that's just it. We have gotten our first entry there. Sorry, where did this one come from? Sorry, okay. Hold on, let me just take this one out. Okay, that's good. So, so if you look at the 4 hours, so you see we got that sell, and our first take profit was this 4 hour low, right? Which we hit our first take profit. Now we are targeting the overall take profit, which is look, BTC is going to sell down to this point. So our probably what we will be looking at is the sales. We are going to be interested in the sales down to this place. Even if we are seeing ideas for buys, I would advise you to desist from taking buys from BTC and always focus on the sales. Now I got that first entry and I got the second entry also. So last week on the 4 hour, let's see what price did. So we see a reaction on the 4 hour again as price was coming down, right? Let me use the annotation. Price was coming down. We see here, we see a push up, we push down, and we see a reaction on a key level, 4 hour key level, and we saw a break of structure. Now, like what I would always tell you, want a reaction Then we want to see a break. We want to see reaction and want to see a break. Now we saw a reaction on the key level. Where's my this thing? Where's my line chart? So yeah, so we saw a reaction, then a break of 4 hour. Then once we see that, we are going to move to the 45 minutes. We want to see, okay, first of all, let's see after the reaction, let's see what happened before we got that major break. Let's see what the candle did on the 4 hours, right? Before the major break. Now we saw this is the candle. We saw the first break. We saw the first break here, first 4 hour candle break, and the second candle break. So normally after the second candle break, that second candle break should be our liquidity. We see that price did not come back to tap anywhere before that major break. So price is going to come back there and tap and give us the second break. So that is why we will now switch to 45 minutes to look for a very good zone where we can take our sales from, because we're always looking at sales. So if we look at the 4 hour reaction, then that break, we'll read what happened. We saw on the 45 minutes a sweep of structure. The 45 minutes, what's it called? The 45 minutes key level was respected. There was a liquidity sweep on the 45 minutes. I hope you can see this. So while other people were looking for buys on the BTC, I was just focusing on myself, because if you look closely, you will see how price is leaving hints for you. So when we saw the reaction on 45 minutes and that break, and this is the liquidity on the 4 hours, price is not come back there to tap on the 45 minutes before it give us the major break. Then I now knew that price is going to come back here to tap on that 45 minutes key level. If we change it to the line chart, we see that here is the 45 minutes key level where we set price to come and tap. You understand? Then we get our continuation to the downside, right? So that's how we got that. But I think other block traders would say that yeah, it's an order block trade. So none of them, all of us, different trading ideas, different, the same approach, right? The same approach. So we can say, yeah, it's an order block, this is an order block trade. Why this is also still a key level setup. So we got entry here and we targeted that low that gave us the overall low, 1 is to 6. Now we are also looking at a possible sell at this zone on BTC, right? So we see how price is now still reacting. On the H4 key level, we are seeing how price is reacting on this key level here. We can also see price is reacting on here, on this key level, right? Come back to the chart, you can see. Or here too is still a good point where price is reacting from. Here price is reacting from. So we are going to we as a good analyst as we are going to mark out all these areas as our key level. Why we are marking this other area is because when price was going up, right? Price was going up like this. Price went up like this and respected this key level, then broke this high, right? To tap on our entry. So normally we're expecting price to respect that zone. You see this zone, price is going to respect it. So that's why I even marked out this area, right? That's why I marked out this area. We'll see what price will do, because that's where price definitely is going to react from and give us a continuation of the sales down to this level and down to our final level, which is this point. So we are still expecting more sales on BTC, and I wish you the best of luck. I've already taken a lot of time explaining this, so watch out for more sales on BTC. Now we're going to move to Euro USD. I will attach the video on this video on the Euro USD analysis. Go back there and watch what I explained on the Euro USD and see how price is respecting every zone we marked out and we talked about to give us our to prove that our model is a very sound model, right? So let's move to Euro USD and see how price what price is doing right now on Euro USD. So on Euro USD, yes, let's look at Euro USD. On the last week, just go and watch the video and see how we have analyzed this Euro USD. So, but from here, we will just see how price respected our zone. Price respected our zone here. We're taking the sell down to the zone, and we said price is going to give us reaction. Come back, tap our entry. But price actually did not tap my entry. I missed out on the buys, but there's no problem because I know that since I missed out on these buys, price is targeting sales on Euro USD, right? Because on the analysis, I said price would go up and we are going to get a push upward even up to this point before we start seeing reaction on the downward movement, and that is what price is doing right now. Price is going up and trying to come down again to sweep all this place. So we are going to put our eyes down on Euro USD to see what price is doing, right? So this is my analysis. I'm still projecting upward movement on Euro USD. I'm still projecting that price will still push upward, you know. Meanwhile, here is our daily key level. Let me just show you. So here's our daily key level, right? But regardless, me I know price will still. There are key levels here. There are lots of key levels, but we are not even interested in all these minor key levels because we know price is going to. This is a major break of structure. This is a major break of structure on the euro USD. So expecting price to clear a major liquidity, even if it's this one or this one, to tap on somewhere and give us our push downwards. Now, if we want to look at what really happened, we see that break of structure and we are seeing how price, respected. This is the daily key level here. This is the daily key level. Now, we want to go into more analysis. We see that the price was actually coming from the weekly time frame, and we got our weekly first break and second break. But before we got that, we saw that weekly weekly zone was like this, and there was a break here. There was a good break of structure on the weekly time frame here, right? There was a good break of structure on the weekly time frame. Now let's see how price reacted on that level. We're going to see how price reacted on that level. This is the break. This is where we got the weekly break. We will see that price on that weekly, sorry, you see that price did not even tap on any of the key levels that we have marked out there. Just hold on, let me bring back my sorry. So yeah, okay, fine. I think I represented the weekly break of structure by doing this. This is, let me say, this. Let me embolden it. So this is where the weekly break of structure started from. So normally price is supposed to come up and tap. Let's see if price actually did that. The price did not even come up. So We are expecting price to push up, take this high, because this high is going to be our liquidity. Price is going to take it, tap on any zone here or here, and give us a continuation of the sales. So that's what we are expecting. So expect more push to the upside. Watch your 4 hour time frame to frame your buys to the upside, right? It is your 4 hour time frame that will give you a clear structural break to the upside. Then you can take your your entry. I'm not going to be talking about entries because if you want to know more about entries and what to look out for before you enter the market, you should chat me up for the class. I also teach one-on-one, and I also have some tutorial videos to share to you. So just chat me up, leave a comment, chat me up, send me an email or drop a comment below, and would I will relate with you on how to go about the tutorial one-on-one class. Thank you very much for this video, and see you on the next one.